Donald Trump and Steve Bannon's coup in the making. We're not even 2 weeks into the Trump presidency. Has your head exploded yet? If so, you're right where Donald Trump and our shadow ruler Steve Bannon want you to be. The onslaught of executive orders and threatening talk, while entirely in keeping with what Trump promised during the campaign, have left Americans of many political leanings feel overwhelmed and fearful of what may come next. The confusion and chaos generated at the bureaucratic and individual level by Trump's most spectacular executive order, his ban of individuals from selected predominantly Muslim countries from entering the United States, came in part from a sudden announcement. From enforced to the public, many were thrown off guard. Welcome to the shock event, President Presley to your, the political system and civil society, causing disorientation and disruption among the public and the political class that aids the leader consolidating his power. Those who still refuse to take Trump seriously cite his incompetence of through start in office. Yet his blitzkrieg was international, get used to it at POTUS as a man of action and impact. Shock to the system, and here's just getting started, his counsel Kellyanne Conway tweeted on Saturday. As Conway implies, these first days of the Trump administration could be considered a prologue to a bigger drama, and one that reflects the thinking of Trump and Bannon alike. From their actions and pronouncements, we cannot exclude the intention to carry out a type of coup. Many may raise the eyebrows at my use of this word, which brings to mind military juntas in faraway countries who use violence and element of surprise to gain over. Our situation is different. Trump gained power legally, but this week was provided many indications that his inner circle intends to shock or strike at a system, using the resulting space of chaos and flux to create a kind of government within the government, one behold only to chief executive. Strike at the enemy at a time and place or in a manner for which he is unprepared, reads on U.S. Air Force formulation of the old military doctrine of surprise. Trump has long been an advocate of the static and complained various times during the campaign that our armed forces were too transparent about their planned operations. Yet Bannon is the mastermind of this takeover strategy as it's been adapted to the domestic realm. Well versed in military tactics and the history of the radical left and right, Bannon has repeatedly talked about destroying the state in the name of security power of an insurgent center-right populist movement that is virulently anti-establishment. Besieging your targets until nothing makes any sense, giving them no time to absorb or recover from attacks, is a time-tested strategy in the history of war and authoritarian takeovers. One might cite what's gone in Turkey under President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. It's not being employed at the pencil of American democracy. It's particularly useful in a situation where the leader is vulnerable due to possible investigations, blackmails, or the circumstance that close off graduous approach to implanting an agenda. With all the emergencies going on, who's bothered at the moment about those Trump tax returns, or even his ties to Russia? The strategy requires the two-pronged approach. First, a curtain of small group of loyal insiders who take orders directly from the leader's inner circle, and are tasked with creating chains of authority that bypass those of existing federal government and party bureaucracies. I was disturbed but not surprised when Conway said 2 days after the inauguration that it's really time for Trump to put his off security and intelligence community. Second is the unleash of the political purge that authoritarians so love. Some purges are punitive, say the firing of acting Attorney General Sally Yates because she defied Trump's immigrant order. And some preemptive, the exclusion of senior State Department staff, but affects it affects is to cleanse the government of troublemakers and leave a power vacuum to be filled with loyalists, or not filled at, for added disruption, of the state bureaucracy.